Hello students, in this video I will be discussing here polarity of bonds. You know that we have discussed about the coordinate bond, covalent bond as well as the ionic bond. But the existence of 100% ionic bond or a covalent bond represents an ideal situation. However, in reality, no bond is completely covalent or completely ionic. Even in case of the covalent bond between two hydrogen atoms, there is some ionic character. When a covalent bond is formed between two similar atoms, the shared pair of electron is equally attracted by the two atoms. As a result of this, electron pair is situated exactly in between two identical nuclei. Let us take an example here. Hydrogen, how it is formed? When two hydrogen atoms actually shared one of its electron, and as see both the atoms are similar, so this shared pair will remain somehow in the middle. And again see, if we consider another atom just like fluorine, here also see the shared pair will be present in between the two fluorine atoms, and as both the atoms are similar, so that none of this atom will actually attract electron towards itself, means it will be situated in the middle. Now if we consider the covalent bond is formed between the two dissimilar atoms having the electronegativity difference, then what will happen? Let us take an example of hydrogen chloride, HCl. Here you see there is a electronegativity difference between hydrogen and chlorine is more electronegative than hydrogen. Then what will happen? This chlorine will try to attract this electron pair towards itself. As a result, the electron pair will be slightly dragged towards the chlorine, and as see the chlorine is dragging this electron pair towards itself, so chlorine will acquire negative charge, partial negative charge, because of the reason is that it is dragging one of its own electron and one of the electron from the hydrogen. That's why, and obviously it will not fully drag towards itself into its orbital. Slightly the electron pair will be shifted towards the chlorine. So as a result, chlorine will acquire the delta negative charge, and hydrogen will acquire obviously partial delta positive charge. And as a result, what happens? See, if you consider this total molecule, there occurs a polarization. Polarization means the one end becomes slightly more negative and another end becomes slightly more positive, and this is known as the polar molecules. So such molecules having two oppositely charged poles are called the polar molecules, and the bond is said to be polar covalent bond, and the magnitude of electronegativity difference reflects the degree of polarity. Greater the difference in the electronegativity of the atoms forming the bond, greater will be the charge separation, and hence greater will be the polarity of the molecule. Now, how can we measure the degree of polarity of a molecule? Means a new term you have to know, that is known as the dipole moment. Dipole moment, a measure of degree of polarity. Dipole moment. How? See, what is dipole moment? Actually, dipole moment, it is the product of the magnitude of the charge and the distance of separation between the charges. Let us take an example here. Suppose I am just considering that a molecule is forming by the A positive and the B negative charges, and here I am just considering that this contains the Q positive charges, and there it contains the Q negative charge. That means the amount of charge present on the A and B both is Q. So, and the distance of separation between the charges I am just taking D, and this is said that the product of the magnitude of the charge and the distance of separation between the charges is known as the dipole moment. So mu, dipole moment is represented by the mu. Mu equals to what it will happen? Then Q into D. Q is the charge of the atoms and D is the distance of separation. So since Q is of the order of 10 to the power minus 10 ESU, electrostatical unit, and d is in the order of 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter, that is 1 angstrom equal to 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter. So mu will be equal to what? The 10 to the power minus 18 ESU centimeter, and this is known as the dBi unit. This is known as the dBi. So we can write here the 1 dBi, or 1 dBi is represented by the capital D. 1 d equal to 10 to the power minus 18 ESU centimeter. 1 dBi equal to 10 to the power minus 18 ESU centimeter. So for example, you know the dipole moment of HCl molecule is equal to 1.03 dBi, whereas the H2O molecule it will have the 1.85 dBi. That means H2O is more polar than that of the HCl. In SI units, the dipole moment is expressed in the units of the cm, coulomb meter. How? 1 ESU equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb divided by 4.803 into 10 to the power minus 10 equal to 3.335 into 10 to the power minus 10 coulomb, and 1 centimeter equal to 10 to the power minus 2 meter. So 1 dBi equal to, you know that the 10 to the power minus 18 ESU centimeter equal to 10 to the power minus 18 into 3.335 into 10 to the power minus 10 coulomb into 10 to the power minus 2 meter. So it will be what? 3.335 into 10 to the power minus 30 coulomb meter. Minus 30 coulomb meter. Now dipole moment, actually it's a vector quantity. Dipole moment is a vector quantity and is represented by a small arrow with a tail at the positive center and the head actually pointing towards the negative center. Just like I am just considering here, suppose the HCl molecule is a polar molecule. Here positive center is the hydrogen. So the arrow will be dipole moment arrow will be represented like this. So as the dipole moment is having a specific direction, so the dipole moment is considered as the vector quantity. Now the shift in electron is shift of electron density is actually symbolized by the crossed arrow above the Lewis structure of the indicated direction of the shift. Now we have to know about the dipole moment and the molecular structure. Dipole moment and molecular structure. You know that a diatomic molecules has two atoms bonded to each other by a covalent bond, and in such molecule the dipole moment of the bond also gives the dipole moment of the molecule. Let us consider here HCl molecule. Here what happened, that the between hydrogen and chlorine is more electronegative than hydrogen. So the dipole moment will be shifting from the hydrogen towards the chlorine. So see, there is only one bond. So whatever will be the bond dipole moment of this molecule, that would be the dipole moment of all the whole molecule. Now that means greater the difference between the atoms, more will be the dipole moment of such molecules. For example, the dipole moment of hydrogen halide actually decreases with the decreasing electronegativity of the halogen atom. See the example, if I write here HF, HCl, HBr, HI. HF is having the dipole moment here 1.78 dBi, and then HCl is equal to 1.03 dBi, and this one HBr is around 0.79 dBi, and then HI is having 0.38 dBi. So what I can say you, that see if we move from the chlorine to iodine, so there is a steady decrease in the electronegativity, so that the dipole moment also decreases. Now in case of the polyatomic molecules, what will happen? In case of the polyatomic molecules, the dipole moment not only depends on the individual dipole moments of the bond called the bond dipoles, but also on the spatial arrangement of the various bonds in the molecule. And in such cases, the dipole moment of molecule is the vector sum of the dipole moments of the various bonds. Let us take an example here. Carbon dioxide, a simple molecule of carbon dioxide. See, carbon dioxide, it has a planar structure like this, C double bond to C double bond. So between carbon and oxygen is more electronegative, this you know. Now see, that means this CO bond dipole will act towards the oxygen, and this CO bond dipole will act towards the opposite direction. See, as both are acting towards the opposite direction, so both will cancel out, both this dipole will cancel out their effect, so the dipole moment mu will be here 0. Again, if we consider here a molecule, see, as the carbon dioxide is having the dipole moment 0, so this is known as the non-polar molecule. That means if there is any sorts of dipole moment present in the molecule, that is known as the polar molecule. So carbon dioxide is non-polar. Why? Because carbon dioxide is having a planar structure, and as the two CO bond dipole cancel out their effect, so that the mu will be 0. And again see, if we consider a molecule like BF3, boron trifluoride. So here if we consider that the two BF bond dipole acts at an angle, so that the resultant dipole will act towards like this, towards the downwards, and see another BF bond dipole act upward direction. So as see, this bond dipole, BF bond dipole, is exactly opposite to that of the resultant of this two BF bond. So both this dipole will cancel out their effect, so that the mu will be here 0. Means the dipole moment of this molecule also will be 0. So BF3 molecule is having a 0 dipole moment, and it is a non-polar. But if we consider the H2O, it has an angular structure. So angular structure means, so between hydrogen and oxygen, the oxygen is more electronegative, so the bond dipole will act towards the oxygen, and this bond dipole also will act towards the oxygen at an angle. So resultant dipole also will act towards the angle, towards the oxygen, but the lone pair present on the oxygen, that also will have some dipole moment in the same direction. So both this dipole moment will adds up. As a result, mu will be increases, and that means mu will not be equal to 0 here. That means the H2O molecule will have some dipole moment, and that's why H2O is known as the polar molecules. Now if we consider here CH4, carbon and hydrogen. Here you see the carbon and hydrogen, this is a tetrahedral structure. The resultant of this 3 CH bond dipole will act downwards, and this carbon and hydrogen, the carbon is more electronegative than hydrogen. So what will happen? The 3 bond dipole will act towards the carbon, and this also will act towards the carbon, this also will act towards the carbon, and this also will act towards the carbon. Now see, the resultant is also acting towards this carbon, so both will cancel out their effect, and mu will be here 0. But there, see, I have said that the electronegativity means dipole moment depends on the electronegativity difference. Greater the difference in electronegativity, greater will be the dipole moment in the molecule. Now, if we consider the case of ammonia and NH3 and NF3, then what would be the case? Both NH3 and NF3. See here, in NH3, nitrogen is having a lone pair. Let us represent lone pair of nitrogen here, and these are the 3 NH bond. Again, for NF3, let us consider that this is the lone pair and this is fluorine and fluorine. Now you know that the nitrogen is more electronegative than hydrogen. So what will happen? The NH bond dipole will act towards the nitrogen. As a result, the resultant of this 3 dipole also will act towards the nitrogen only. And now the lone pair is more electronegative, so the lone pair will also act in the same direction, lone pair moment. So both this lone pair moment and the resultant of this 3 dipole moment will adds up and it will increase its dipole moment. But in case of the NH3, what will happen? The fluorine is more electronegative than nitrogen. And as fluorine is more electronegative than nitrogen, so 3 Na bond dipole will act downwards and the resultant will act upwards. But actually the fluorine is more electronegative, so that what will happen? This lone pair moment which acts in the opposite towards the bond dipole of the Na will cancel out somehow some of the dipole moment, but it cannot be zero. As both the lone pair moment and the resultant of this 3 dipole act in the opposite direction, so that the mu of this molecule will be decrease, but it will not be a zero. So that's why we can say here the NH3 molecule is having greater dipole moment than that of the NF3. So now one more thing about the dipole moment you have to know, that what are the importance of dipole moment. Importance of dipole moment. You know that the dipole moment plays actually very important role in understanding the nature of chemical bond. How? Actually, it help us in the distinction between the polar and non-polar molecule. The measurement of dipole moment can help us to distinguish between polar and non-polar molecules. Non-polars have the zero dipole moment, while the polar molecules have some value of dipole moment. For example, you know H2O molecule with the zero dipole moment is non-polar, whereas the HCl with the dipole moment of 1.07 is dBi is polar. And also degree of polarity in molecule, dipole moment measurement also gives us an idea about the degree of polarity, especially in a diatomic molecule. The greater the dipole moment, greater is the polarity in the molecule. Example, you know that the HF, hydrogen fluoride, this molecule is having 1.78 dBi dipole moment, and whereas the HCl is having the molecule of 1.07 dBi. So what will happen here? You see that the HF molecule is have greater polarity than the HCl molecule. Again see the shapes of the molecule can be determined from the dipole moment. As already discussed, in case of molecule containing more than 2 atoms, the dipole moment not only depends upon the individual dipole moment of the bonds, but also on the arrangement of the bonds. The dipole moment actually is used to find the shapes of the molecule. Example, you know that the dipole moment of water is 1.85 dBi, while that of the carbon dioxide is 0. This means that the carbon dioxide is linear molecule in which the individual dipole moment of 2 CO bonds cancel each other. On the other hand, water is not linear, but it is angular. It has angular shape as shown above, having the resultant dipole moment of the 2 bond dipoles as 1.84 dBi. Again, see how much ionic character is present in a molecule, that also can be calculated from the dipole moment difference. Actually, you know that, let us take an example here. How can we calculate the percentage of ionic character present in a molecule? Percentage of ionic character in a molecule. Ionic character. How? Let us take an example here. It has been said that the HCl molecule is having dipole moment 1.07 dBi, and the bond distance is 1.275 angstrom. Now what will happen here, you see, if we consider that the molecule is 100% ionic, so it will be ionized to form the H plus and Cl minus, and the charge developed on the each atom will be 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10 ESU. So once again, if it is the completely ionic or 100% ionic, then it will be ionized to give the H plus and Cl minus, and here whatever the charge will be developed on these two atoms will be in the order of 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10 ESU. Means whenever a molecule will be get completely ionized, the charge developed on the atom will be equal to 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10 ESU. Now you know that for 100% ionic character dipole moment, or the mu 100% ionic, we can say that ionic, we can calculate like this way, that the 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10 ESU charge will be developed, and the bond distance will be the separation of these two charges. Bond distance is given what? Bond distance is given here 1.275 angstrom. 1.275 means it will be in the 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter order, means as we are considering both the CGS unit only. So 4.8 into 1.275, approximately it will be here 6.12 into 10 to the power minus 18 ESU. So it will be what? 6.12 dBi. 6.12 dBi means that is the 100, when the molecule is 100% ionic, then the dipole moment is 6.12 dBi. But here the observed dipole moment is given what? 1.07 dBi. So how much percentage of ionic character in the molecule will be equal to 1.07 observed dipole moment divided by the dipole moment for 100% ionic character. Dipole moment for 100% ionic character. It will be what? That the observed equal to 1 into 100. 1.07 divided by 6.12 into 100 means approximately it will be coming here the 17.48 percentage. That means the HCl molecule is having 17.48 percentage of ionic character, and rest around 82 point something percentage it will be the covalent character. As the covalent character is more, so the molecule will be considered as the covalent character. Okay, and dipole moment is having another application, that it helps us to distinguish between the cis and trans isomers. Dipole moment help us to distinguish between the cis and trans isomer, because cis isomer is usually higher dipole moment than that of the trans isomer. For example, trans isomer of 1,2-dichloroethane, the dipole moment is less because the bond moments of CCl bond cancel out each other. Let us take an example of cis 1,2-dichloroethane first. Cis 1,2-dichloroethane. Cis means 2 hydrogen will be in the same side of the double bond, and 2 chlorine also will be. Here between carbon and chlorine, this chlorine is more electronegative, so that carbon chlorine bond will act towards the chlorine. As a result, see the bond moment also will act towards the downward direction. But if we consider here the trans structure will be like this. Here carbon and chlorine bond, obviously the carbon hydrogen bond moment also will cancel out their effect, so mu will be 0. That means it will help us to distinguish between the cis and trans isomers of the molecules. So about the dipole moment, and its application we have discussed in this video. I hope that this will help you to understand the topic. That's all. Thank you.